Hi and welcome to InFocus. This is Jabbar Al-Obaidi and we are coming to you from BTV, Bridgewater, Massachusetts. In this episode, I'm talking with Leslee Barbosa. She is the president and CEO of Joseph's Village. We would talk about Alzheimer and how, what's the latest in terms of treating this disease. And I know she, my guess, she's working really hard, trying to engage the community and community members, senior citizen, because I think there is a huge gap between the real disease and the people who've been impacted, moms and dads and sisters, because no one is immune, and also the perception about it. So my friend Leslee, welcome to InFocus.
Thank you so much, Jabbar.
And thank you for the great work you're doing. And I know you were just, before the show, were talking about, how busy you are.
Yes.
And always, even this afternoon when I went to the website and you have always remind us about, friendship and, how your mom said friends are the flowers in the garden of life. How beautiful is this?
Yes.
Statement, and I'm glad you really preserve it, and then you always remind us this. So just to remind our audience and see, tell us about the vision. What's your vision, and with the organization and the reach out to the community?
Sure. So I started Josie's Village in memory of my mom. I took care of her for 11 years in my home. She had 3 types of dementia. She had vascular dementia, Alzheimer's disease, as well as Lewy body dementia. And during those 11 years of taking care of her, I really got to know the disease, Alzheimer's especially, and, the symptoms of dementia that come along with these diseases. And the last 3.5 years of her life, she was completely bedridden, under hospice care, but still in my home. And I always said I went from caregiving to extreme caregiving, because taking care of someone at the very end stage of dementia is like nothing else. And so it went from caregiving to extreme caregiving and under hospice care. But still, my mom, often people lose so much of their personality in who they are with dementia, but my mom never lost that.
That's what you wrote, yeah.
Yes.
And you insisted that you're going to take care of your mom.
Oh, yes.
And I think you were seeking some answer why not, encourage people when they have the same situation, and to bring their moms or their loved ones that they have this disease to home. And
right.
You said you didn't land on any answer.
No, well, I was very, I wanted to learn as much as I could about these diseases and how it impacted, my mom and anyone who had a form of dementia, but also how it impacted the caregiver, the families, and what could I do to spread the word and awareness about the disease.
So your vision is to spread the knowledge about it, or to mobilize the community members?
Well, all of the above. My vision, of course, is a world without Alzheimer's and all other forms of dementia, and this is what we advocate through the Alzheimer's Association. So the only way to do that is to spread awareness. I share, stories about my mom and taking care of her, and how it doesn't have to be all bad all the time. So so that's what kind of propels me every single day.
So, and what are the reactions? What kind of reactions that when you talk about this? Because you are great storytelling, and so you share that courageously with your audience and the people that they know. I mean, could you tell us about the reaction, the responses from the people? I mean, it's one thing when people say, "Oh, yeah, we understand, we appreciate that." It's another thing when people really put it into action, and then yes, we acted, we did this and this.
Right. People really appreciate me talking about the disease, because so many people, pretty much anyone I talk to, has it in their family, knows someone who has the disease, and are afraid to come forward because there is still such a stigma against Alzheimer's disease, as well as all other forms of dementia. So by sharing, what I went through and what I continue to go through, because I help caregivers, I run 2 caregiver support groups in the area. So, I help caregivers every single day, and they appreciate the stories that I tell, and that I don't hide it away, and I never hid my mom away. I wanted people to know, again, that it didn't have to be all bad.
So what kind of form of share information with, you go on to the caregivers and visit their homes, or you invite them to meetings? Because this is important to our audience. If you just join us, we're talking about really very important topic in terms of dementia. And I want to go back to the 3 stages that you mentioned. Yeah. So how what kind of form that you do?
Yeah.
To establish this connectivity in terms of information. Really, people are hungry, probably information, but they don't know how to reach or to seek the information. But for sure, when a human being, a person like yourself, you went through the experience, and now here we go, and then you talk about something factual.
Right. So again, I do have my caregiver support groups. So we do have caregivers that come. There's one in Bridgewater at the senior center that meets twice a month, and I actually attended that caregiver support group as a caregiver, and now I co-facilitate it with Kathy Hayes at the Bridgewater Senior Center. I started a caregiver support group in West Bridgewater, Council on Aging.
Nice.
And now I've actually, in the past year, since we met last, I started advocating with the Alzheimer's Association on a state level. So I go to the State House now, and I share my story with legislators to hopefully, bring forth change in Alzheimer's disease and all other forms of dementia, and getting things that are more available for caregivers, for people who have the disease. And so that's how I...
So now that's I've done your effort prior to March. In March they have this new things, right? There was a bill. Remember we talked about it, and then they approved it.
Yes.
Yeah. So also again, could you elaborate on this? I know it's not, not gonna stop this, or is it pure kind of treatment for this, but something. I think we like to, because it's hope. We need hope.
Absolutely.
And we need people to continue, the medical community to continue their research. And we need, the federal government and the states, to help and fund this research because this will benefit the whole community. Because as we said in the introduction, no one knows whether they have it or not.
Right. So the last time we spoke, I was advocating at the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services in Boston to have a specific drug covered by Medicare and Medicaid.
Yeah.
That's Leqembi, and it was passed, and Medicare is now covering it. And actually, just recently, another drug called donanemab also became available. And what these are, they're drug-modifying treatments. So this is a big change for
I'm sure.
Alzheimer's disease, because in the past, with my own mom, she took Aricept and Namenda, which were the gold standard. They treated symptoms of dementia, whereas these drugs actually target the amyloid in the brain to hopefully reduce amyloid. So this is huge in the world of Alzheimer's disease, and it is an incredibly hopeful, as you said, time to be involved with the Alzheimer's disease, because these drugs are stepping stones for the next available treatments and hopefully cure.
So now the legislature want to say, I mean, I like the word stepping stones, and this is on the right track and the right direction,
Absolutely.
To take care of, basically our citizens, I mean,
Absolutely.
and of course around the world, because this is not just in the United States, this is around the world.
Around the
so
world.
what do you hear from legislators? Are they going to continue pushing?
Oh, absolutely. The legislators that I met with at the State House are 100% behind the Alzheimer's Association of pushing for better drugs, for more research, for things to be available for caregivers, and for the patients.
Yeah, and to cover it, because it's very expensive, so sometimes insurers, they don't want to do that,
Right.
I mean, of that. Now, could you remind our audience, like, if there are some signs that a person themselves, that they can't say, well, I need to check this if I have dementia or not, or especially the elderly, and I mean, what are the most obvious
Right.
signs, if you don't mind?
Right. No, of course. Typically, it's not the person who is ill that notices there are signs. Sometimes, but that would be very early, and a lot of times they just kind of pass it off. And caregivers, or their family members or spouses, friends, they may notice small things, like trying to write a check. Finances become a very big deal with in the earlier stages of Alzheimer's disease. Maybe getting lost, going somewhere that they've always gone to. Aren't quite sure how to get there anymore.
Okay.
These are signs that there might be something going on, and that they should contact their doctor.
So, but how about what you said is social stigma?
Yeah.
That is not on the person,
Right.
but also probably the family or something. So, how we can educate
Right. So
the
this.
popular kind of ourselves about that. That is, this is not. Don't be, don't reserve and then hide it,
Right.
because the worst probably coming.
Right. Absolutely, the worst would be coming. The problem is that people, once they realize that there's something going on, they tend to self-isolate. And when that happens, it really needs to be the family and friends who step in and, encourage someone to, seek help. But this is a problem. This is a problem in society. We don't feel ourselves. We feel like there's something wrong, and I don't know what to do about it. So instead of seeking help with their doctors, they're just, stepping back from society.
So we need more literacy about, education, information that you've been doing, and I hope we are contributing to that effort too.
Yes, absolutely.
For BTV, and so, but you remember you did a lot of activities. I remember the Plymouth Walk. You have mini golf. Tell about these events and the numbers, the funds that you raise, and most importantly, the information that being disseminated and shared with the people.
Sure. So every year I do the Walk to End Alzheimer's. This will be my 4th year. My team is Josie's Journey, named after my mom, of course. And we are a top team, top fundraiser.
Yeah.
And last year, so our walk is in Plymouth. And last year, our walk raised about $400,000, which was wonderful. My team raised over $20,000. I raised over $11,000 personally. Always trying to beat that goal every year. And it was it's a wonderful day and it's a wonderful experience. So part of my job with the Walk to End Alzheimer's, I'm on the committee. So, and I co-chair community engagement. So, what I do, so I reach out to Steve and Nancy Prisco at Prisco's. They are wonderful people. They support my walk every year, and they hold a mini golf tournament for me, and we had one back in June, and we raised $1,500 towards my walk. And it's a great way to engage the community, and we have people come and they say, my father had Alzheimer's or my grandmother had Alzheimer's, and it's nice to see people raising money for the disease. And so that's always wonderful. I have another fundraiser coming up at Crispy's on September 11th. So again, Laura, she always supports the Walk to End Alzheimer's. So it's really engaging the community. Yes, I'm raising money, but it's really to spread awareness.
For personal benefits.
Right. It's to spread awareness and engage the community, and it's a wonderful.
Now we were talking about also, I think before we started the program, about this annual conference. For the association.
Yes.
Association. So, could you also talk about it? And is it local? Is it national, international?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's the Alzheimer's Association International Conference.
Okay.
And it's held somewhere different every year. This year it was in Philadelphia.
Okay.
And that was the end of July. And, we always wait with bated breath of what's going to be coming out from the Alzheimer's Association's conference. And this year, they are focusing in on plasma biomarkers. So this is huge for Alzheimer's disease, possibly finding out decades before any kind of symptoms come out.
So, who are the attendees?
Oh, so the attendees are, the top medical researchers in the world. So I think there were 8,500 there
this year
in Philadelphia. Yes.
And so they rotated, like alternate, like every
year. It's somewhere different in a different country, or next year it will be in Toronto. So,
in Canada.
Yes.
So now, are you interested to go to participate, or you just?
Yes.
Is this expensive?
Absolutely. I'm actually thinking about going to the one in Toronto because I have family just outside of Toronto. So I will likely go next year.
Now, how do they reach out to the people? Do they have like books coming out of it, research, so people they can read and get some information about that, or just those who are interested like yourself, because you have your organizations, therefore you want to be part of that.
Right, exactly. It's mostly for, people who are researching the disease, who are, hopefully making medications for the treatment of the disease. So it's really our realm that's involved. But anyone who's involved with the Alzheimer's Association is aware of the international conference every year.
Do you think the media in the United States in general, they put enough effort and enough programs to talk about this disease, so they can educate the people? I mean, what do you feel?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Right. Well, of course, sadly, no. I
Okay.
don't think that there's enough information given about the disease. You'll hear about it if, an actor or someone well-known has the disease. Then you might hear a little bit of something. But really, there's...
It's not the regular, people.
No, unfortunately, but this is a disease that there is no cure right now. So it's a terminal disease, and it is extremely complex. Last year, again, I mentioned that, I think I mentioned that the Alzheimer's Association, we raised $100 million last year for research and for the Alzheimer's Association. And still, people are saying, well, why isn't there a cure with all this money? But it is extremely complex.
It's just, the cancer, I mean, we still, people, they're trying to find a treatment for it.
Right.
But the effort should continue. But that's why I wonder, the media, you don't see a medical program like all kinds of programs there.
Right.
But you don't see a medical program like every Tuesday, for example.
No.
And for 30 minutes, talking to people like yourself.
Right.
Getting all these, so this is, I'm thank you for your honest answer.
Of
Now,
course.
what are the best practices in terms of you as an activist and also as a leader in this really very sophisticated, however, is very critical journey in our life that we need to educate the people, families, and B, separate the information, and C, share whatever the last result, medical result that being actually produced by the medical specialists and experts. So what are the basic practices you think that we can achieve? Not all of these things, but some of these things that people then say, okay, don't be ashamed if you have someone in the family, they have this disease.
Right.
Okay, you should always talk about it. As as I said, courageously are you doing this?
Right. Well, I think that, of course, the first step is diagnosis. I tell all my caregivers to get an accurate diagnosis, because each type of dementia is different. I say, well, what if you were diagnosed with cancer? Wouldn't you want to know the type of cancer you have? Because there are, each disease progresses differently. There are different symptoms. So it gives the person and the caregiver a little bit of a glimpse of what's to come, and maybe where to start looking for help.
So that's the first step.
Yes, that's the first step, of course, is to get an actual diagnosis.
That's one of the best practices. Second is to follow up.
Oh, yes, absolutely. You want to have a great relationship with your doctors.
Communication.
Absolutely. absolutely. You know, a lot of people say, well, they go to the doctor, they diagnose them with Alzheimer's, write a prescription, and say, see you in 6 months. And that really does happen, unfortunately. But one of the things that you can do is reach out to the Alzheimer's Association. They have wonderful support system and can really help people to manage the disease and where they can go throughout the entire journey.
I mean, you just said something really, I think is very, I have to underline this. You go to the doctor, say, okay, this is your medicine, go to the pharmacy and, and get your medicine, and then we'll see you in 6 months or whatever, a year. How we can kind of stop this? Because probably during this 6 months, everything will be deterioration and,
right.
and go to second phase.
Right.
So how you fight that? How you manage that?
Right, it's very difficult, and I talk to caregivers every single day who are just at their wits' end because they don't know what to do. And, something pops up with someone with dementia, which inevitably it always will, and they don't know what to do. They don't feel comfortable calling their doctor because the doctor has said to them, well, take this medication, it will help with symptoms, and be on your way. And it's just not enough. There is not enough out there. But again, the Alzheimer's Association can really help with that.
How? I mean, yeah, because people they say, okay, I'm gonna do and probably contact them. How?
Right.
And what kind of support they have?
Sure. So
because sometimes, sorry to interrupt you, even to talk about it,
right,
in a very clear and respectful way, probably will help the patient.
Yes, absolutely. So there is an 800 number, 800-272.
So we can put it on the screen.
3900, and they have master level dementia specialists who can talk to you. So if you're having trouble, if you're right in the middle of a crisis with your loved one who has a form of dementia, they can help you to resolve that crisis right in the moment.
And again, what's the number, please?
800-272-3900.
Okay, and then they can get some help from them.
Oh, absolutely. Or they'll just listen. If you're a caregiver who is...
And listening is really important.
Yes.
Listening is important.
Yes, very important. If you're a caregiver who is just... It's exhausting being a caregiver, especially to someone with dementia. Imagine trying to keep calm and keep your cool and try to answer the same question 300 or 400 times a day. It's hard.
Yeah, Leslee, thank you so much. Really, this is very important information that you shared with us and with our audience. Mm-hmm. And I hope the next time we will have better news in terms of the medication.
Yes.
Now we already have good news that there's some support and people are willing to help. And you and your team and your leadership is very important. And for our audience, please contact Leslee. And this is Jabbar Al-Obaidi. Thank you for watching InFocus, and we'll see you next week. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jabbar.